C'est bon. Okay, whoever knows that song, wow.
C'est bon.
C'est bon. C'est bon. We want to go to France so
Yes.
bad.
So another tip for you guys: in the mornings when you're making your coffee, please listen to French cafe
Music.
music. It is so fire.
If anyone is French on here, I'm so sorry to offend you.
We're like,
I want to be you so bad. But
Yeah, same.
we just want to pay homage and respect. Thank you so much for your service. Why did we bow?
know.
Thank
Let me cough
you.
one more. Let me do a little cough session before we get started.
Okay. Clear it out.
I think when you go to New York, you have to wear a
Drink water.
mask.
Drink water. Yes, wear a mask.
Honestly,
The fumes.
I
there?
can only imagine. Me and Ray were talking about like COVID in New York. Would have been.
Can you imagine? And it's so compact there. I just know.
Literally?
I know. SF was bad, but in New
If
York,
you go through a crowded subway, you'll be sitting just in your seat, and then you'll have someone like this holding on.
yeah, I think that's just the norm.
Yeah, it is.
It's not
fine.
like. I think it's like that in the Philippines too, because it's just so crowded. When I went there, why am I looking at the camera? Is it recording?
Yeah.
Oh my god, hello. I'm just like, wait, I forgot where I was for a second. When I was in the Philippines a long time ago, I remember we would be on this escalator going up. I think we were at a mall or something. And you know when you're in an escalator, you kind of like have space in between the people
No.
in front of you. But no, these people were like right on my back.
Sniffing you.
And like their shoulders were touching me, and I kept looking back like can you back up? And I was like, mother, look at this girl behind me. She's like not giving me my personal space, and she's like, it's just like that.
It's just like that.
Please just have more patience. I'm like, I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
I need
space. Yeah.
space.
After, yeah. Definitely be careful
Please be careful.
with germs. But I'm wearing my realtor shirt. I just want
I
to point that out
told
real
you
quick.
I'll be there for you.
And I will be there for you.
I'll be there for you. I've been there before. No one told me was that the words?
What is that?
This is the beginning.
see, no one told you I was gonna be this way. Okay.
Something.
Anyway, let's get right back into what we're talking about.
Contributing.
Caught up. We do.
Am I?
I kind of want to get diagnosed. Not diagnosed.
I want to take a
but
test.
How do
just
they
to
even find
see.
out? I kind of want to find
feel like
out.
we can Google it. To be honest, I just want to know.
But I Google it and it's like, oh, I do all these things.
yeah, I
And
identify.
then I feel like
with a lot.
everybody has ADHD at that point because I know so many people that are the same way.
Right. I don't want to self-diagnose it, but I am very concerned. Anyway.
Me too. Anyway,
Anyway.
hope you like my shirt. Hope you like her dress. And hope you're watching on YouTube. But today, we wanted to talk about what we wish we would have known before starting our businesses. Because
Oh my
definitely
God.
there's a list that we've actually compiled here
Yes, we do have
of
this.
things that we wish we knew. So,
And we're just sharing to the good people.
if you're wanting to start a business,
Yes.
or want to know what we feel that,
Whoa, whoa.
woo woo. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
We could just start it off. So
Okay, go ahead.
We'll just take
Number
turns.
one.
We'll just take
Number
turns.
one. Go ahead.
The first
Popcorn.
thing, and we both agree on this one,
Mhm.
is save 6 months of savings or more if you
least.
want to start your business. If you want to go full jump into it. If you don't have that much savings,
It's gonna be
it's gonna be tough
really
because
hard.
especially if you're starting off just straight up in the business, no other stream of income, you might not make money
I can
until like 6 months.
I can speak firsthand.
Exactly.
I jumped head in first. I quit my job. I said, you know those videos of people who like jump into the pool and you think it's gonna be like a good dive, but they like belly flop.
But they
and
will-
it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. So I like at least 6 months of savings, or just keep that job you had.
Keep the stable
Keep
income.
the stable income, build your capital. Like, you need money to make money, and if you kind of pour in, this is what I thought, and I wish I didn't do this. I was like, okay, the more I invest in this and the more time I sacrifice,
It'll come back.
it'll come back to me and my business will grow.
That's not
Yes,
always the
that's
case.
kind of true, but
Not right away.
when the money is funny,
When the money is funny.
it was real funny. It was
Ooh.
hilarious, okay? So I suggest if I can talk to my past self, I would be like, bro, just keep that job.
Because you don't want to...
It's stable income. It's a stable, guaranteed paycheck that you can get every 2 weeks, every month, right? That can feed and fund what you are doing. It doesn't mean you're a bad business owner. It doesn't mean that you're not committed to starting your business and wanting it to grow. It's just the reality of it. Like, if you don't have that money saved and or you didn't keep that side job or like part-time job, you're stuck, and it's gonna be
the worst
100 times
We've been there.
harder. And I was there. I am currently there.
It's already hard enough trying to start a business that you have known nothing about.
Exactly.
And then not having money come in.
On top of that, you invested in the training, right? You invested in like taking the test, invested in training for lashes. Like, that's also money you've put down.
Fees.
And that you have to make back. But like, you have things to pay for and things to invest in, bills. So I highly recommend keeping that job. Even if you're really committed and you're so excited.
Yeah, and I know a lot of realtors even say, like, you're not going to get the most out of this unless you're full-time. Which, yes, that's totally true. But give yourself some time first. Like, start off small while you're doing that job. And then once you feel like you got the hang of the business and you understand everything and you got most of the training done and you feel like you have the savings, you can use that job to at least build you your savings of 6 months.
Yes.
And then move forward. And trust me, guys, we've learned the hard way. That's why that's our number one lesson that we want to give, because we've both been there and we don't like that feeling. It's not good. It's not good.
And then it makes you think and it makes you feel that you are not good enough, or like you're not doing what you think you were supposed to do, or like it's not coming back. Like you're wasting your time. Like, it's just bad. So save yourself the stress. Keep that job or save the money.
The stress, save the money.
Because remember when Mia was on the podcast, she was like, bro, it was different for me. Like, because my situation was different. She had her full-time job and lashing was her side hustle at the time. But obviously her ultimate goal was to have her business be the main, right? But that happens to a lot of people. People end up keeping their jobs. But we can't look at the ones who completely like go all in, because you never know, they might have that financial backing. You don't know people's stories completely. Just from our personal experiences, it's better safe than sorry. Just do that.
And I just wanted to backpack, since we did have this one here. It kind of relates, because
yes.
Another thing is so my situation's a little bit different, where I did go full time, but I had a lot of I got to be a side agent, so I was making pretty stable income because I was helping top producers. So they were consistently making sales, so that I was consistently getting paid. Now, my fault there, or something that I should have learned, this is where the advice should have came in, is save as much as possible. I wasn't saving as much as I should. I think I was so caught up in, I need to buy all these things for my business because I just wanted more, use this money to buy this for my business, or that, like a new computer, which again, at the end of the day, yes, you can write all that stuff off at the end. But if you're just starting, use sweat equity. Don't think about, because you're just starting, why are you spending so much money on these extra things? Like, you don't need to do that. And that's where my fault had came in, because then I wasn't saving as much, and when that consistent income didn't come in, that's where I got into a little hump there. And so for sure. And so what I mean by sweat equity, if you're a realtor, is don't spend so much money on leads, or spending money on hiring someone to hire someone to edit all your content for X amount of money. And now I have a virtual assistant that is I don't have to spend, honestly, anything, and she does it for me, and it's awesome. But use sweat equity. That means do the work yourself. Go door to door, talk to people, give out flyers, because it's free. Do anything you can for free for as long as possible, because you're already paying for fees. You're paying for realtor fees, your brokerage fees, whatever other else. Of course you have to pay for that. But in terms of all this extra fluff, you don't need to do that right away.
You don't need all the extra.
Until you're ready. So first things first, save. That's the main thing.
Because I think what happens is, when we started our business, we just got so excited and so caught up in the good,
all the good stuff, the cool stuff,
and it blinds you to rational and realistic thinking, and so we kind of jumped at the gun, and we skipped a lot of steps that we wish we didn't skip.
For sure.
Of course, things happen for a reason, but I feel like we would be in different places if we kind of took these advices. So this is gold right here.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys
Sprinkle
understand.
onto
Okay,
y'all.
number 3. Or what are we?
Yeah, we're kind of in.
Okay, number 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay, take classes, like for Serina's case, it's classes and like mentoring and like all these things, all these new ways to better yourself, better your business, and learn.
So if there's something you should invest in money-wise, it should be the classes and the training,
it's
especially
the training,
if you're starting.
especially for lashes. Like, the industry is constantly growing. You know, we're not only learning classic sets and volume sets now for the people who know these terms, but like there's so many new trends now, and like there's so much newer, there's just a lot of new stuff that you kind of have to continuously educate yourself.
We live in an innovative world.
Yeah, so be open and willing to learn constantly. Don't just settle for the basic and kind of learn on your own. You'll be one step ahead if you invest in learning from these people who have those courses. Like, don't think like it's a waste of time, because you are just pouring back into your craft at the end of the day, and it's never
a bad idea to keep learning something new about your craft. Unless you're spending thousands upon thousands, maybe you shouldn't go for that one. But there's such cheap like classes out there that you can take. So
don't settle. And like, I feel like what I should have known, I should have humbled myself a little bit to maybe Serina. Like, maybe at one point in my business when I first started, I was like, I'm good. Like, I already learned the basics. Like, why do I need to learn from another person? I already know what to do. No. No, yes, you did that. Perfect. But what more can you do?
There's always more.
Humble yourself and like keep educating and keep growing. I think that's another thing.
For sure.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to do it. It's not a waste of time or money.
And don't be afraid to reach out to other people in your industry.
Yes.
Especially with how we say there's a lot of people in real estate, there's a lot of people in lashing. I think Mia said it's not saturated or something like that.
I remember she said, like, come to think of it, there's a lot of lash artists and like companies out there, but the people who are actually doing the thing, who are actually like in the trenches and like activating their businesses and being active in the community is a small percentage. So think of that as an advantage. Like, you might think it's very competitive out there, wherein actually it's not. It's just you. Your competition is you. So don't be afraid to ask for advice. Like what we're saying, our main point here is to don't be afraid to reach out to those who are in your industry. Like, keep in contact with your mentors that taught you in the beginning, because that relationship is key. It's everything, because you're gonna encounter a lot of obstacles and like a lot of new things you may have not seen before, and you can ask for help and like advice. And even other artists out there, for those of you who are in the beauty industry, like, this is a community, and I feel like it's not really moreover a competition, but a learning opportunity to grow from each other. And I feel like in the beginning of my business, I was scared to kind of follow people and like their stuff and like maybe reach out and tell them they're
even
doing
following
amazing.
other realtors on social media at first. I was like, but I actually like, there's realtors that I look up to now.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from these
people. There's people from other areas that you can, link up with and pick their brain. Because I know a lot of the times when we go to seminars or do masterminds with other agents, we try to do it with people from outside of Sacramento, because obviously there's no one else in Sacramento that's probably maybe doing what they're doing as often. So it's always good to just collaborate. There's always room for knowledge and room to share all that, because we're willing to share with other
we're
people.
Actually excited to share. And like, one example is one of my really good friends. She lives in Australia. Shout out to my friend, you know who you are. She has a lash business in there, like in Australia, down in Australia.
Down under.
But it's very successful. She's been doing it for a long time. And another girl that I've known ever since I was younger, I would be scared to like talk to them, or like all of my conversation would just be complimenting them, like, oh my gosh, you're so good, like this is goals or whatever. And I would never be like, how did you do this? Like, what was your process? Or like, what company did you work with? Or like, what brands do you like? And I took a leap, and I said, dude, like, I need help. Her name was Hazel. I was like, do you have any advice for me, being new in this industry? Of course I went to Mia for all this stuff, but it's just another perspective of someone who lives in a different country, and like the market's different. And I wanted to ask her, like, do you have any advice for me? And she was actually excited to tell me. Like, she wanted to pour pour back into somebody else, because I feel like it's all a community thing. What you would pour into someone else will pour back into you. And it's all about giving back. So don't be afraid to ask, and also don't be afraid to share your knowledge. Don't like guard it,
because the worst thing that someone could do is say no.
Yeah,
and there's so many other people that you can turn to. So
exactly.
we're here for that. We love this support. We love women, empowering women.
Yes,
and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Another big one. This is a big one for me.
Yes, me too.
It's get in the mindset that this is still a job, and you still have to clock in when you're supposed to clock in.
Yes.
Because when you're an entrepreneur, you have your own schedule and you're on your own time. Think about it. When you're in a 9-to-5 job, you have to clock in at 9 o'clock, for example. You're going to get to work. You're going to skip. What if you wake up at like 8:30? You're going to skedaddle and get ready and go to work.
Quick.
Now, as when you're an entrepreneur and you set your time for 9 o'clock and you realize, I still have to eat breakfast. I still have to I didn't go to the gym. I should go to the gym. But no, you should show up for yourself at the time that you said you're going to show up for yourself. Now, again, you have more flexibility, and there's going to be times where maybe you don't have to treat it that way. You don't have to work from 9 to 5 per se. Like, sometimes you might have to.
It's the concept, though. Yeah.
It's the idea that you're still going to work the hours that you say you're going to do. Basically, keeping the promise to yourself and clocking in and clocking out when you say that you're going to do it.
Yes.
Because, you have to give yourself a certain amount of time and hours of work for yourself. You're not going to work for an hour and call it a day, or end up starting. I mean, it's okay. There are going to be days where maybe you had slept late and you wake up late, and then you have to start at almost noon, and again, it's fine. But it's just a mentality. Again, it's all consistency, and you have to treat it like you're clocking in for yourself. You're the boss, okay? You have to satisfy yourself. And sometimes it's easy to just I scratched you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
And it's so easy to fall off from that.
No, I think just going off of that, you have to take this shit serious. Sorry for my language, my French. But you have to take it serious when it comes to starting your own business and being an entrepreneur. A lot of people think of the benefits, right? Time freedom, money freedom.
And you go to the grocery store.
Right. Like everyone's looking for that, right? Everyone wants that now. But when you start your business in the beginning, especially,
more work,
actually you're putting in 100% more work than you thought. This is not a walk in the park. This is actually hard, and not hard wherein like it's not possible. No, it's hard wherein you have to really sacrifice the time and the effort. You have to be committed. I think that's a big one. Disciplined, committed, all those words, consistent. Like, you have to take this extremely serious. It's not just like, oh my god, yeah, I'm a business owner, la la la. Like, I can just do whatever, whenever, not plan. Like, I heard this saying where if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you fail to plan, meaning like if you don't plan, then like you plan to fail, basically. So like, plan everything, make a schedule. Like, I wish I knew all of this in the beginning, because everything was on the fly. Like, in the beginning of our podcast, I mentioned like it was very like day by day. Like, I didn't really take it serious. Like, I knew the earning potential was nice and it's big and it's there, but I wasn't putting in that work like right away until it comes in motions, and it comes as you go. You learn these things, but I think we're here to tell you that I think once you get into that mindset right away, you will be one step ahead for sure. So that's one thing. Again, don't expect money right away. When you invest in these things, right? Real estate, oh my god, the earning potential is immense. It's crazy. But you're not going to sell a house right away. Like, you're not going to make like the $1 million 6-figure thing right away.
On average, it's going to be like 6 months.
Right. And lashing, you're not going to have this big business selling products, teaching, like having like all of this within the first year or 2
clients
years
every single day.
A client every day or more, like 5, like whatever the goal is for yourself. Like, it's not going to come right away. It's not even going to come within the first couple years. You just have to have that already. Like, you have to be prepared for that, and you already have to tell yourself that, like, okay, I have to put in this work for my future, because if I don't put in the work now, it's not going to come at all. Like, you expect the money right away, but you're not going to put in the work. That's weird. What's 1 plus 1?
It's not mathing.
What's 1 plus 1? Okay. Okay, what's
Another
the next
one is the importance of social media and branding. And yes, if you're not into social media, if you're not into video, I know.
It's hard,
I go to these like seminars all the time, and I know like the older generation hates to hear about
like
video.
Physical. Yeah.
And while there's a lot of businesses that do thrive on not making videos and all that, but honest, to be real, we're in this generation now.
You have to adapt.
And we've seen more success through making videos, through social media. Everyone in our generation, first of all, is all on it. So
yeah,
it's the way to go, and it's free. It's free marketing.
It is. You don't have to pay for these ads unless you want to.
Yeah, you can.
You don't have to pay like it's free.
And if you can do it every single day and put yourself out there every day, then people are going to remember you.
Yeah.
Even if they're not interacting. I know it can get a little bit discouraging in the beginning, like, oh, no one's like commenting, no one's liking it. Who cares?
Right.
Just let that go. Post and go. Do not think about it. You don't need to make it perfect. If you're just starting out, I know you see a lot of professional videos. Yeah. You see the captions.
The feed is crazy.
Like, there's the aesthetic. But no, if you're still uncomfortable doing this, just start small and just make it basic. You don't have to make it crazy.
Yeah.
Like, production-wise and everything.
Yeah, you don't
because
have to
the whole
best
point
quality.
is to, like, get yourself out there. Because once someone's ready to get their lashes done, once someone's ready to buy a house, they'll be like, oh, who can I go to? Oh, I see this girl all the time.
She's always
they're
on
gonna
social
be
media.
who you think of.
No, exactly.
Who they think of.
Exactly. And when it comes to the importance of social media and branding, in the beginning of my business, I didn't take this serious either. I literally put together a logo out of a whim because right after I got my certificates, I was like, oh shit, I have to start a social media now. And I was kind of rushing everything. I made my logo. I kind of like makeshifted my policy, and like I was posting randomly, and we're to the point where it was like, okay, it's just like random lashes. But the plus side to that was, okay, I was getting my name out there. People know I can do lashes. People know I've been practicing. But the downside was, I wish I knew how to build up my brand while training in lashes, because I think once I rebranded, I just felt more sure and more confident in what I was doing.
I love your content.
Thank you. I feel like in the past, everyone's a beginner. When you're a beginner, obviously you're going to be unsure and uncertain from a lot of things. I just wish I was a little bit more sure of what my look would be. And that comes hand in hand in how productive and how consistent you are on social media. So now I'm like constantly posting, but before I'd be like, this isn't a good angle, or like the lighting's bad, I'm not gonna post this even though the lash set looks really good. Or like if the lash set doesn't look like what you want it, still post it. Like, this is your beginning. Like, I remember I used to be like, oh my god, my lash sets are so bad, they're so ugly, like this is not turning out the way I want it to. But bruh, like people love a journey. Like you can compare, like literally use that to fuel your content.
Do those transformation videos later on. Like, there's so many things you can do.
It's so amazing to see where I've come from, and it's crazy.
And it makes it more fun once you get the hang of it, once you get your brand going.
Yeah,
and it's
social
like more
media
exciting.
is everything, because majority of my content builds and results in clients. It's wild. I remember at one point, like, I just kept getting clients because they found me on their Explore page. I'm just like, what the hell? I'm on the Explore? Just because I was posting consistently, like Mia was saying. Like, once you post consistently, the clients will come because they'll start following you. They're engaging with you more. You're exposing them to your craft, and then they're like, oh, I'm comfortable with booking with her. I've been seeing her.
Even that, they can even recommend you to someone else.
Exactly.
Like,
Referrals are big.
Once you hit one person, you hit their whole sphere.
Aren't referrals big for you too?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's my goal, is to just be referral based, so I don't have to like
work on
extra work. Do reach outs. Eventually, I just want word of mouth. That's like the goal at the end of the day. So,
random thought. You know how when you go to a Kings game and you go to Golden One, when you get injured, who do you call? Anne Fung, right?
Dude, shout out to Anne.
Can we calling her?
If anyone knows,
can we have her on my podcast? Because I have to talk to her. Sis, you're on billboards.
Everyone knows her.
You're on buses,
Kings games.
That's a lot of money, but I just want to know.
Everyone knows.
Like, imagine sold by Serina in Golden One Center, or like
I know.
Kalafia Beauty. Like, who do you call? Ghostbusters. Like on the You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. I like that.
I think that's a great goal. Okay, manifest.
Right.
Manifesting
totally get
on
her
a bus.
Can we really get her on here?
I know, I'm really serious.
If something wrong.
Because she's a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Who are you gonna
Incident?
call?
Accident?
Yeah, accident. If you're hurt, if you're injured.
See, we know her.
See?
Everyone knows her.
I don't
swear.
even like. Yeah, I feel like once I mention that name, they're gonna be like, yeah, gold
Something
lettering,
wrong.
navy
Yeah.
blue.
Everybody the pose.
See, marketing is everything.
Marketing's
Social media is
everything, so-
next.
Period. Okay, the last one is just expect to build first before getting your feet off the ground. Just the whole beginning of your journey is just building.
Yeah.
And figuring out if this is for you, because it might not be, right?
That's okay.
So just set that expectation. It's a lot of expectation, right? And make those expectations more of learning, building, saving.
Yeah, and when it comes to the concept of building, I know it might sound overwhelming and kind of like, oh, I don't want to do it. It sounds dreading.
Little things every day, though.
But you kind of have to like be okay with that. Starting from scratch, starting with knowing nothing and starting from the bottom. Like when you think about like a professional team, right? Like a championship, like Legacy or whatever, they started from the most rookie, like the basic, brand new, fresh team, new coaching staff,
felt imposter
everything.
syndrome.
Yeah, probably like I don't belong here. But you know, they're trying to build a dynasty and they're trying to build that foundation, and you can't start with like when you have nothing.
And can you imagine? Just look at us, for example. We're
Yeah.
able to talk about this stuff.
Exactly.
Whereas before, we could not. We don't even.
I don't
we're
know
just so
shit.
clueless.
Yeah, I'm so clueless and lost in la la land. But yeah, I think it's very important to kind of come into terms like, okay, I'm okay with being at the bottom first. Like, I need to start somewhere because from the bottom you can only go up, right? And so using the small stuff, like the small details, even though you think they're so minuscule and they don't matter,
Yeah.
they actually matter. Like, it matters tremendously. So hopefully these tips helped you. And like when we entered our businesses, we didn't know that it takes so much energy.
Effort.
Like it's a lot, guys. Like the amount of energy and the mindset, how strong you have to be, or like it's overwhelming to think about
mentality. That's another thing.
It's like overwhelming, but when you break it down,
Yeah.
you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
I guess what we want to talk about now is mentality. and,
Mentality, because when you're in this business, you're gonna run into all types of people, like we said.
Oh, yeah.
And the other complicated thing sometimes is just how you want to navigate, how you want to go about it. You have so much freedom. Freedom on how you run things and how you act and, you know, the way you roll, right?
Yes.
So I brought up this topic to Callie. We were talking about masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah.
And in general, we know what that means.
Right.
But in business, it's a whole different ballpark. I feel like the approaches to business through these lenses are very black and white almost.
Yeah.
And first off, I know you said you were not as familiar, right, with like
I've
each
never-
side of it.
Yeah, like I
And
mean, I know
looked at
what
it that way.
masculine, feminine
Yeah.
energy is. I just never broke it down
Yeah.
in a way where like, oh, like in a business setting, like how can you like define
and
it?
I think it's so, and for me, my goal is to like have both. Because both of them are very important. So masculine energy is like the hustle mentality. It's very masculine. It's like very male influenced because you're all about the hustle. You wake up at 5, you get a cold shower, you know, you work out, you meditate, you like, I don't know, I'm like talking like a man.
I know you got deeper.
It's like masculine.
Wait, hold up. Like all those like skills and like characteristics of like getting up early, working out, like having that's all masculine.
And like being consistent, and then like just being very
Interesting.
very, and then just like sticking to the plan, like working, like wake up at 5, like those are just examples. I'm not saying that's masculine.
Like the discipline of it.
The discipline of
Okay.
it all.
No, yeah. No,
There's no emotion really attached to it. You're just
it's
kind of
very
laser focused. You're all
straightforward,
about the numbers,
stern.
getting them right.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Doing what you got to do, consistency, discipline, which that's awesome. That's a lot of like superstar athletes and
Yeah.
all those like influential people.
Right. No, right.
Probably run on a masculine level, and
No,
CEOs.
yeah. No, for sure.
You know, they have to run at
Okay, I'm
this
getting this
pace because they're running an empire here. They have to have that masculine.
They have to have that
they're
alpha, dominant energy.
Now,
Okay,
the
I get
feminine
it.
energy
Okay.
is softer, right? It's giving you the grace. It's like,
Okay.
oh, I'm not like you're mentally, it's like a mental health day. Like you're you're a lot softer. You're giving yourself grace. Like maybe you don't wake up at 5. You do what works for you. You do what works for you. You work slowly. Okay? You're giving yourself room here.
Okay.
And letting things, and it also, if things don't go as planned, you're kind of like, okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's more of a mental thing. I think.
Got it. I think if you break it down to the beginning of time of men and women, I think
that's exactly where it stems from.
This stems from, okay, let's do the woman, right? You know, she's like the caregiver of the family. She cares and loves and cherishes everyone. You know,
she gets things done.
She gets things done. She's responsible for certain things in the household, or she just has that. She has that importance and significance with the dynamic of a man and a woman, right? But then for men, you know, they're the breadwinner, and a lot of the time CEOs, head of the household,
and
right?
Entrepreneurs were mainly men. You didn't see a lot of women do that. So now that women are entering this era,
I get it. Okay.
Now we're adding feminine qualities into business, right?
This is so interesting.
Now it's a matter of, because for me personally, when I think about the masculine energy in business, I'm like,
Are you thinking about the determination, or are you thinking about
determination? Just
are you thinking about the men, just men in general? No, just kidding. Maybe what's giving you the ick is just men. You know,
with high testosterone.
It's just
feeling
too much.
No feelings.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Which at the end of the day, that's what helps. You need that structure.
You do kind of, yeah.
Because if you're so in your soft feminine energy, you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah,
but the way you approach things might be better.
Okay, I think I get it now. If you really break it down, I've never thought about it that if you okay, you do that. okay, you can just cut it out. Okay, if you break it down, I've never really thought about it like this, but it's true. When you break down feminine energy and masculine energy, I think it spurs from just the beginning of time of or how men and women operate and their roles, right? So women, you know, they're the caregiver of the family. They take care of the family, the children. They have they're that support for the man, and they have more empathy, more grace, and they're just the queen of the family. Yeah. They're important. They get things done,
and they household.
They have that role, right? And then the man, you know, he's the breadwinner.
Money.
He's he provides, right? And you need that energy to protect and provide and stuff like that. So, and it's very strong. So I see why masculine and feminine energy where it comes from, it makes sense. Where the inspiration behind I'm a CEO and I'm doing this and this, or feminine energy I'm getting my work done, but I'm doing it the way I want it, for my mental health. You know, it's just.
And I like both.
I like both.
Because now that women are entering this. Nowadays, where women are becoming bosses,
they're becoming the CEOs. Roles. Yeah.
So, can you imagine a woman just embody? And I'm sure a lot of women now are embodying this masculine energy. But for me, I like to have both.
Right.
I think it's good to have both.
I know.
I think everyone should have a little bit of both.
Because sometimes when you think of
too much in your masculine,
when you think of men, sometimes not even just their determination and their good qualities, you know, that come from masculinity, right? All that positive. Just sometimes just the.
I'll give you an example of ick. I heard a guy, and not again. Some people might be into it.
You never know.
It's just not for me. Okay, not my cup of tea. But some guys are just why are you resting right? Why are you sleeping right now? You should be making money. That kind of thing. Don't be taking a bubble bath right now. I literally heard a podcast of this guy because he was an entrepreneur, and
they always sound so aggressive.
I turned it off because he was just you shouldn't be taking bubble baths right now. It's a waste of time. You need to be. It's just basically everything is money. Everything is just every hour is you should be making money. And
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think that's more that's a little more dramatic.
It is.
Definitely masculine energy isn't that.
It isn't that.
That's an excessive amount that I've heard of.
Right. No, but I liked what you said. A good mixture of both, because men have beautiful qualities and women have
leaders.
Yeah, and women have beautiful qualities. So I guess
mixing the
we
two.
can, if you take certain characteristics from both, maybe we can talk about how we can piece together the perfect balance.
I know. Yeah. And that's what I'm still trying to figure out, because you know, I get into my moods of I'm gonna grind, wake up at 5, all that.
Right.
Pause.
I
think it's the last episode.
It's okay, good thing. We're almost there.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, sometimes I'm in my moods of like, okay, I'm gonna freaking work hard today. Like, it's gonna be hours and hours upon working. But then I think it's unhealthy when you're constant, because when I would get in those states, when I'm constantly masculine, it doesn't give me room to feel anything. It doesn't give me
you're numb.
It doesn't make me, or it doesn't give me room to like rest or re-nourish myself again, because when I do step into the masculine all the time, I get burnt out.
I think when it comes to feminine energy, let's talk about both sides, right? Let's talk about not necessarily the weaker side, but just the soft, and then there's also strong, right? That's why women are so amazing. It's a compilation of everything. Not only do we have power, but it's hard to pinpoint, but it's powerful, but it's I don't want to say soft because I don't want to have negative connotation to it, but when it comes to having feminine energy, I feel like it all spurs from the same place as masculine energy, because we all have a certain type of confidence. I feel like it's just different. Like we all want confidence when we're sure of ourselves, but women confidence is different from.
I think it's not as aggressive.
Confidence.
It's not as aggressive.
Yeah, I mean,
it goes back to giving yourself grace.
Yeah, I mean, certain parts of men aren't always aggressive. I think that's why some men get or men in general get kind of a bad rep, like, oh, men, negativity, like just bad vibes. I'm just like, well, that's not all men. That's just the negative side of things. Yeah. Men actually have really great traits. They're hardworking, they're determined, they're supportive, they are kind, which women have kindness too, but I feel like when we dive into like the negative side of both energies, it can be a recipe for disaster. So like when Serena was talking, for me, when I think about like the energies and like the wokeness of it all, like when we dive into what Serena's talking about, like, oh, I feel so burnt out, like all these things. I think that's just because we're not diving into the right parts.
And that's where the feminine should come in at that point.
I don't think we're not diving into the right parts of each energy. I think we have to find a balance. Maybe when you're diving into the masculine energy to not get burnt out, you do need that feminine balance, but I don't know. I think my point is, when I'm saying all of this, is not all masculine energy is negative, and not all feminine energy is negative. Because from both sides, maybe a man has different perspective on women energy, and we definitely have a different perspective on masculine energy. So I think when it comes to finding a balance, it's different for each person. I'm not saying women don't have determination, but like when it comes to masculine energy, they have that force in them that once they have that goal and they know their purpose, it's like they're on it. They're on it. Like, for example, my dad, like, he takes pride in taking care of the family, right? And like he takes pride in he says his purpose is to help provide, right? And I think there's so much strength in that. And so when you find that purpose, I think what I would love to take from masculine energy is like the purpose and like committing and like having that determination and that commitment to doing that. I think that's what I want to grab from there, and inspiration from, for example, my dad. And then for women, I think it's just easier to reference my mom and my dad. Yeah. So, and then for my mom, it's like that's where the patience comes in, and that's where like taking your time, empathy, and still having like that determination, but it's just, I would love to take that trait from that feminine energy, just a mixture of both. Yes, I have so many goals and I'm determined, and I have that energy in me to be the boss, to be on top of my game, and to be that energy that I need it to be to run my business. But then I also have the patience in myself to embrace my femininity, embrace my womanhood, and not be afraid to be a woman in an industry that's so male dominant. So I think that's how I see it personally. I don't know, the way I break it down, I just don't want any like negative connotations to both energies, but I'm just trying to see the positive on both sides. I don't know, that's just how I'm breaking it down.
I agree.
Yeah?
Everything.
Yeah?
That's how I would want both of them to be matched up together, and I think that's a good way to just navigate and go about running your business too.
Yeah.
Whether it's an outside business or in business, it's good to grab each quality from each side.
Exactly.
I don't think just having one is
it's too much. Like you said,
the
you're burnt
best
out.
thing to do. Just like being able to tap into both
energies. Yeah.
And for those men out there, you should tap into your feminine energy too.
And yeah, and I feel like a lot of men do, and like seek that patience, seek the grace, right? Because then you would live such a balanced life, not only just in life, but like how you run your business. Like you have people under you that, say that you're like a boss or like a leader, right? You have people under you who you're leading, so you can't just be like
dominant,
like hard all the time.
Because I've experienced that too.
And it's not a good thing. I feel like you have to have both sides. It's like yin and yang. You can't just have all darkness and no light, and all light and no dark.
Darkness.
So it's a constant mixture of everything. But yeah, don't be afraid to tap into that side too, because you never know, like in relationships too, like what if you are really aggressive, not physical, but aggressive in like your energy and like your intention. But what if you do need the patience, and maybe it'll give you a better perspective, like all that stuff.
Relationships is very important for that too.
Yeah, because you know, we're all very hard-headed in our own way. Women are hard-headed, but men are hard-headed as well. But I feel like we have a wider vision when it comes to certain things and reacting in certain ways. So maybe some men need to tap into that energy too, and we definitely need to tap into being strong, being confident in ourselves. Like we deserve it, you know. Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
I've never talked about this before. Because when Serina brought up this topic, like, having masculine and feminine energy, having both of them in a business, I'm just like, wow, I've never really tapped into that. Because when she was talking about how, like, waking up at 5 a.m., working out, doing all these things, and running my business.
And I know it sounds like too much. I know the way that I'm, like, the way that
I love the way you
communicated that.
No, I love the way you portrayed it.
But that's just things that that's what I've witnessed.
No,
when I'm in real estate, there's a good amount of women now. But
no,
there's also a lot of male in real estate or as CEOs, and I just hear a lot of podcasts, and I kind of had to stop listening to those types, because you look at those people, and yes, they're so successful, everything, but when I listen to them talk, it's like that's not the vibe. That's not the vibe for me, and that's fine. It could be the vibe for anyone else, but for me, I totally love the idea of both. Being able to embody both, because I just think that's good for an overall human being. Like
it's a balance. Like you don't have to be aggressive. You can still have substance and get your point across without pushing that energy. You don't have to like overdo it, you know. And like when Serina was like explaining that, I'm just like, wow, I've never really thought about those characteristics as masculine, because I have heard of women that do that too, but maybe they're just tapping into their masculinity.
And on TikTok, it's so much of this like soft girl era.
Yeah,
you hear that, right? On TikTok, and every time I see it, it's always this aesthetic of like girls moving slow, taking care of themselves, like just not bothering, not caring, just kind of nonchalant energy.
That's the term that was put on.
That's what that's what I'm seeing now, like on social media, and I just brought it up because it's interesting.
It is. You know, I love talking about
it. There are times where maybe I do want to tap into that. I do like the idea of not totally stressing out and feeling like I need to be in a million places at once, and just strictly focusing on what I need to do. And I love that a lot. That's what I like about it. So it was cool. Let us know what you guys.
I think this is a great conversation because I've never talked about it, and even talking about like the soft girl era, like I feel like that would be also a good conversation to talk about, because when it comes to trends on social media, they're just there, right? Yeah. But I feel like they hardly get talked about. It's just filtering through, and at the end of the day,
it's a lot of fluff too. People are just trying to make it a nice
Yeah,
nice video out of it. And yes, while I like that kind of stuff,
Me
like
too,
I
love
love
it.
to see
I'll
what
eat it up.
people are. I love to see people's like coffee
Yeah,
recipes
it's so
and just,
it's so
and their
satisfying.
outfits and all that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's good to look at, but at the end of the day, be careful what you're kind of
Setting
letting
yourself
your
up, yeah.
brain,
Conditioning yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
exactly. So it's a little food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought. Don't
dur-
always put one specific label on
Yeah,
everything, because everything can encompass so many things.
We're such a huge vessel of
Right. We're a
Different.
sponge.
Yeah. So just again, since we are sponges, just be careful what you're
Careful.
consuming, what you're letting your brain think, and really think about what you're looking at. Like
Yes. And then tying it into like our businesses, we hope that like these tips helped you guys.
Yes.
And I hope this conversation kind of sparked like an
a
interest
thought,
in
maybe
you.
a prompt for today
Like
would be
maybe like a prompt you can reflect like, okay, what are my traits and like what are my characteristics?
what's masculine about me,
And then maybe you
what's
can like
feminine about
you
me.
can like have like a diagram of like, or a diorama. Is that
And
what
so you
that's
can
called?
see where you're mostly
which
your
one is
energy
which.
is. Are you
Yeah.
mostly masculine?
I
Are you
would
mostly
love-
feminine?
I would
And
love to
what
do that.
areas do you want to change where you want to be a little bit more masculine in this aspect or more feminine? So
Right.
I think that's
and we're
pretty
talking about energies.
Yeah.
Like energy and like vibe. Cough.
Okay, wait, yeah, now.
Okay. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We like talking about it. This was so interesting.
Yes.
If you have any other topics like this that you guys want us to dive into, we don't mind talking about it. We love talking about new things. We love talking about new stuff. So let us know and watch us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram,
Apple Podcasts.
Spotify. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.